Let me explain it to you. It's an idiom, okay? It's an idiom. Well, if it means, not quite. If our mind is made up, it means that we've decided, and we don't want to talk about it anymore. When we say our mind is made up, we have decided, and we don't want someone trying to change our mind. Okay? I decided to, well, I'm going, this coming weekend, I'm going to Cambodia. Okay, I'm going to take a trip to Cambodia, short trip, to see Angkor Wat. Okay? Now, one of my friends at Maryknoll said, oh, instead of going to Cambodia, you should go to Singapore. I said, sorry, my mind is made up. Yeah, don't try to change my mind. My mind is made up. Okay? It's an idiom, because we don't like make a mind, do we? No, it's an idiom. So when we've made up our mind, don't let anybody try to change it. Okay? Now.
Decide my mind.
Yeah, we've decided. I've decided, and I'm not going to change it. So we don't need to talk about it anymore.
I decided.
Yeah, I've decided. That one is not working very well. So let's do a different one. See how this works. Let's button this down. That's an idiom. Let's button this down. You know what button is, okay? We button a shirt, you know, we button sleeves. Yeah. But when we say, let's button this down, what we mean is we need to make a plan. We need to make a plan. We need to decide what we're going to do and move forward. So when we say button it down, what we mean is we're undecided at this point what we're going to do, and so we need to make a decision, make a plan, and follow it through. Okay? Button it down. This also, we could say, instead of button down, we could say, let's pin this down. In other words, you know what to pin, if you pin something to the wall, you know, pin something to the wall, to the map. Okay, if we pin something down, then we're making it stay in place. So if we pin this down, it's the same as button this down. We need to make a decision, make a plan, follow through.
And not change my mind.
Pardon me?
Not change your mind.
Not changing my mind. Let's just pin it down and follow through. So those are idioms. And there are many, many idioms in English. And we can only take just a couple a day. Otherwise we'll get too confused. We'll get overwhelmed. You know what that means? To be overwhelmed? To be overwhelmed, too much information. You can't process it. To overwhelm. I do not want to overwhelm you with too much information. Overwhelm means that you just can't deal with everything, you know, there's too much information. You can't remember everything.
It's idiot.
No, overwhelm is a regular word. I do not want to overwhelm you with too much information. So, overwhelm is a verb. It means to burden you. Burden you. Give you too much. So, same thing as burden. Oh, burden, like that. Okay? Now, do you know about punctuation marks in English? Have you ever covered that? Like periods and question marks and so on? When we end a sentence, when we end a sentence, we know that we've come to the end of the sentence because we put a period at the end of it, okay? Now, if we want to show excitement, then the punctuation we put at the end is what we call an exclamation point, called. It means that we are exclaiming. So here, I just say, let's go to lunch. Here I say, let's go! It's an exclamation. So this is a period. And then, of course, you know what a question mark is. Where will we go to lunch? That's a question. There are a few more punctuation marks that we use in English, but I don't want to give you too much information because I might overwhelm you. Okay? These are the ones that you see most frequently in English. Now, some languages, Spanish for example, they put the question mark at the beginning instead of at the end. But in English we put it at the end. So those are called end punctuation marks. You already know about commas, right? Yeah, the comma. We use the comma to separate a dependent clause from the main part of the sentence, like we studied last week. When it is time, comma, we will go to lunch. So we're separating the dependent clause from the main part of the sentence, comma. Okay? Comma. A comma, we spell a comma C-O-M-M-A. Okay? That's just kind of review. Just to keep it in our mind, okay? All right, now, let's do our lesson for today. Get this going. While we do this, let me ask you some questions. I was visiting with Tessa as we were walking to class this morning, and she was telling me all the places that she's visited, very interesting places. So I want to ask each of you, have all of you traveled outside of Thailand before, gone to other countries? Okay? Everybody has? All right. Now, of all of the places that you traveled,